What's good people? Welcome to hashtag My Be More Project. What's the 410? Where we stand in the gap of the news you can use and the positive stories that our spirits need. I'm your host, Dion Joyner Weems. It's like a tribe called Quest. You have to say it all together. And though I wear many hats, they all sit on top of the same mission to uplift, amplify, and empower Baltimore's truth tellers and change makers. Whether that's through hashtag My Be More Project, my book, That Part What Some Know But Won't Tell You About Motherhood, or as the Chief Energy Officer of Audacity Group, a global marketing shop, we tell bold stories of impact. And in 2022, we did a listening session and we discovered what you and I already know. People trust people more than they trust a system. And that's why we create a space to center the people on the ground doing the work, like founder and executive director Tonee Lawson of the B.org. Let's bring her up, shall we? Tonee, can you hear
Hey,
me? Are you
Dion.
there?
We are all good. Thank you so much for having me.
You have the patience of Job, and I love that about you, woman. I love that. Okay, before we jump into the conversation, I wanted to do it's a bio slash verbal flowers. Do you mind if I read it to you? Okay.
Sure.
Tonee Lawson is the kind of leader who once heard a young girl say, "No one from Baltimore ever makes it," and refused to let that be the truth. As founder and executive director of the B.org, she has spent over a decade turning belief into infrastructure, creating spaces where young people are not just told they can be anything, but they are given the tools, exposure, and confidence to actually become it. With a background in STEM and a heart rooted in community, Tonee has built a model that blends science, self awareness, and real world readiness, serving thousands of students across Baltimore City and beyond. Tonee is not just preparing young people for careers, she is reshaping what they believe is possible. Tonee, is that fair?
That is fair. That is so amazing, Dion. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
you are amazing, child. Um, Now, again, before we jump into the conversation, we'd like to do this. Um, it's basically giving people a taste of the professional behind the title. So we call that They Ate. Okay. So it's 8 rapid fire questions. Don't overthink it. Just say what comes to your mind. Are you ready?
I
All
am
right.
ready.
Let go. Crab cake, fried or broiled?
Broiled.
Nickname your family or friends used to call you.
Molly.
Oh, we got it. I'll pack that later. Name one song on your get pumped, amp, fired up playlist. What you putting on when you need to get?
Oh, hold on. I have a couple. Bring them out. Bring them out.
We need to get a My Be More playlist. Bring up, yes, love it. One thing every student needs.
Oh, love. Love.
Amen. Love it. Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
No.
Thank
I'm out. No. Mm-mm.
okay. Tony.
Take me to the king.
Take me to the king.
Just
Okay.
take me to
Stop.
the king.
I'm sorry. All right. Okay. The word your students would use to describe you.
Mom. Mom.
Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers? What say you?
No.
Last question. If you had 25 hours in a day, how would you spend that extra hour?
Definitely an extra hour for me. Probably rest.
Self-care, reflection on you. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
then I think you clearly, Tonee ate. Tonee ate. Okay. Let me, if to take me to the king part. I'm sorry. That one took me out. Okay, so let's jump into our conversation. All right, I'd like to do little themes here just to keep us flowing. The why. You've shared the moment that sparked the bee.org, but what keeps you in the work on the days when the impact isn't always immediately visible?
Because the why still remains true today. There are still so many people who feel like they are not worthy of success. And ironically, I tell the story that the young lady um, said that no one from Baltimore ever makes it, and her name was actually Layla. And almost 10 years to date of hearing that story, there was another Layla who said no one from Baltimore, makes it. So I was like, oh, my work is not done. My work is not done. And the story still, it still remains true for a lot of young people. So it requires us to continuously pour into them, and the work is just not done.
So, and that's interesting because when you look at that 10-year reflection, what belief about Baltimore youth did you have to unlearn to lead this work effectively?
Our young people actually want to do good. Like, they want to do good. They want to be all that they're destined to be. It's just the dots don't always connect between school, home, community, and like what they see in their neighborhoods. But at the core of it, they want to be successful. They want more for themselves. They want to be the change. They want to be, everything that they can dream of. But there's gaps. There's gaps in the system. There's gaps in our community. There's gaps in education. um, but at the core of it, they want more for themselves. They truly do.
I want to stay there for a second because you and I are watching the same news. So when you're saying the things that you have to unlearn, this belief that what people see versus what our youth feel are two totally different things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it only requires a quick conversation with them. It really like, if you sit down and talk to them, a lot of things that our young people see or say are a reflection of what they have experienced. And to no fault of their own, you know, a lot of them are just in survival mode. And so
Mm.
if you can get past the surviving and expand your vision to be able to see other opportunities and what life could look like on the other side, then they have a little more desire to do more, to be more, to want to, be impactful for themselves and for their family. A lot of our students, like one of the kids just said, I just want to be able to move my mom out of this neighborhood. I want to work so I can get a house for my mom and so that we can move to a safer place. So their hearts are in the right place. Their hearts are in the right place.
So it's interesting, Tony, because when you have these conversations, when you sit down and listen, but I find that that can be a challenge for a lot of adults to get over the fear.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is, if it's a fear and intimidation, and maybe you can help explain. Starting that conversation seems to be a difficulty.
Hmm. I mean, there's a generational disconnect, right? Like, and
Uh,
so what I feel like we do a good job at the B org now that I'm in 40s, right? I am able to see, like, okay, yes, Miss Tony can be cool, but I'm still not as hip as our young people. So there is a little bit of a gap. So what we use is a near peer model where we bring in college students or recent college
mm,
grads to help close the gap and kind of translate what I may be missing at 40 to what young people are experiencing at 16, 15, those pivotal years. And so that has really been really, really instrumental for us and to help be more impactful in the programming and the work that we do.
can I say one? That's as a mother, my oldest is 14, my twins are 12. And as I listen to you speak, I'm like, wait a minute, that does make sense because where my 14-year-old may latch on to what mommy is saying, I could leverage him
Mm-hmm.
to communicate further with his brothers to keep that alignment. So for anyone that's listening, I think that is an interesting model to use. Okay, if you don't have it directly, you can find a point of connection to kind of act as a translate or a bridge,
A
translator or bridge,
bridge.
a
Mm-hmm.
bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's something switching from the why to the reality? What's something founders or institutions still don't fully understand about what it takes for organizations like yours to thrive? And be honest, I mean raw honest. What are they missing?
Institutions miss that the solutions to the problems are closest to those that you're serving, right? Those who are close on the ground. And some people may still consider us a grassroots organization. We're kind of like mid-level, but still have grassroots at heart.
Mhm.
Funding does not always trickle down in the ways that it should, or I feel that they should, to
Man,
those who are closest to the work. And so once we are able to shift our mindset and pour back into organizations that are still at the front lines, rolling their sleeves up every day and getting their hands dirty, I think we will be able, once that happens, you'll be able to see a lot more transformation happening in our communities. But one thing that they, founders miss is like speak boldly about it, right? And
yep.
I do now in year
Mhm.
what 12. I didn't before, but it took a little while to get here. It also takes a proven track record, right? Like
Yeah.
I can pop it because we're really doing the work and our results show.
Yeah.
Um, so I have a resume to back up everything that I'm saying, and being bold and unapologetic and saying, listen, this is what it is. You guys are missing this here, but this is what I need you to come to the table with if you want to be, a partner in doing this work. We're going to do it regardless, but if
Receive.
if you want to be a partner and really help support, this is where I need you to meet us with this level of investment. So,
One, I want to say thank you for with the what's the 410. We're speaking to nonprofits, grassroots, activists, artists, and what I have found is is, and again, please correct me because I'm never saying that I'm an expert, but there seems to be this false perception that because you are grassroots, closer to the ground,
mhm,
that you don't have the capability or capacity to handle the money that you're asking for to
mhm,
do the work that you are actively doing. Is
mhm.
that fair? Like where does that stem? Where is that coming from?
Um, a couple places. So again, we are in teenage years now.
Yeah.
And baby in the game. Would I have loved to receive $1 million? Absolutely, right. But baby in the game me, and now teenage years me,
Yeah.
but seasoned professional. I know we did not back then have the capacity to manage $1 million. We did not
Mhm.
have the infrastructure in place to manage $1 million. Do we today? Absolutely. Our
Amen.
systems align, our resources align, we're sound, we're ready to go. Along this journey, you kind of don't know what you don't know until it slaps you in the face sometimes. I didn't go to school for nonprofit. Do I have a master's degree? Absolutely. But did it tell me how to run my business? No. This is very much a learn as you go along, unless you have, someone to show you, um, what systems and things you need in place, or even a blueprint set before you. It's
Mm,
different when this is, you're a founder and you're coming from scratch versus coming in to take over an organization that already exists, and they've kind of had the ebbs and flows, and they've learned and lost, and the
yeah.
infrastructure's already there. We kind of built this as, as we come along. So sometimes smaller grassroots organizations may not have the capacity to manage $1 million, even though everyone thinks $1 million will save everything. It does not. Capacity, resource, infrastructure is really, really important. However, I do think there's a space or a gap in having organizations that are smaller, grassroots, still doing the work, and institutions who do have capacity to actually to bridge that gap and to
Hmm.
make the connection to help build them up, so they don't have to learn as they go and they don't have to figure it out on their own, kind of like I did.
No,
um
that's good. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just saying you just gave an active solution for those that want to don't keep pointing at the challenge and
mhm
withholding the dollars when there
mhm
is a way to bridge this gap in order to
mhm
lift up. So
yeah.
anyone that
And what that looks like, funders very often give program dollars to support on the ground work, but they do not give as much operational or unrestricted funding. That unrestricted funding and that operational support supports the overhead, but also helps support the infrastructure and to help build a strong foundation. Without that, you cannot have successful programming. Without that, you do not have impactful outcomes. That is what is missing.
mm,
It is harder for some people to track, they say, or they would rather see their dollars go to work, to say I gave 1,000 computers or fed 500 people. But if you don't invest in the infrastructure and the foundation, that programming that exists to feed those people or to teach those things or to distribute computers and teach workforce, that infrastructure will fall, the programs will fall. People just have to be willing to invest in the foundation.
come on, Tony.
Mhm.
Um, I'm ex- come on, Tony, because the thing is, what you're saying doesn't allow people to hide behind an excuse because you just offered a solution. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
If I identify a problem, and this is with anything, I'm not going to talk about a problem if I cannot be a part of a solution, because you know I don't want to waste my breath.
No,
There's no point in complaining if you don't have. And it's not a complaint. It's just, this is where we are in this work. This is what I'm seeing. This is real life experiences.
yep,
Um,
yep, yep. And that's why I love talking to people with, as you said, you have the receipts to back up what you've been working over these years, this decade and more now.
mhm.
What's the hardest truth you've had to accept about systems that were never designed for the young people you serve?
Is that system actually is real and it does exist, right? It's a hard slap in the face to look at, you know, sometimes the way the city was designed, and sometimes how educational policy is written, and sometimes it's looking at the way resources trickle down, and like how policy dictates um, budgets and funding. It's a hard pill to swallow, to say like, oh, you were really that ugly to be this intentional in leaving us out of these equations. So it's, for a long time, like, you read the research, and you know what history says, and I can read the policy and I can read the reports, but to actually sit here and think like, dang, a person really came up with this and thought they did the damn thing, and to know that it just is not set up for young
Mm,
people to succeed is a hard pill to swallow for someone who has such a loving and giving heart and nature. For
yeah.
me, it was hard. It's a hard slap in the face.
No, I mean, when the that adage, a bitter pill to swallow, when you're already when you're just starting out in those early years, and you're wearing multiple hats and still having to be force fed a bitter pill, you can
Yes.
see why. Um, you
Hmm.
you can see why some may give up, walk away. Why didn't you give up? Why didn't you walk away?
Every time that I think about a shift, a change, a transition, I lie to you not. A child calls me. A child calls me. And even when it's hard, someone will call or send a text message or a parent will reach out. But more times than not, it's a child. It's like, oh, Miss Tonee, look, I got this. Or, oh, Miss Tonee, I got this scholarship. Or I passed this test. Or um, it's just a gentle reminder. Like the children tell the story of impact far greater than anything we could ever put on paper, far greater than anything that I could ever communicate. It is just my kids that keep me going. When a child tells you, I literally was planning to just be something like a garbage man, but now they're in their second year of college and thriving and doing well. Those are the stories that that keep me going.
Tony, I'm a my friends and family know Dion's catchphrase. There is no such thing as coincidence. It's only God's confirmations. And
Hmm.
what you are explaining, it feels like, you know, when God sees that you're at that point, that He sends this message, this whisper of affirmation, motivation to keep going. So I'm if anything, I want to say I'm thankful that you have that discernment to
Thank you.
listen when it comes.
Yeah.
Um, I want to unpack the model that you have because you seem like you have some non-negotiables, even how you move and speak. The B.org blends STEM and social emotional learning.
Hmm.
Why is this combination a non-negotiable for you?
STEM is hard. Science is hard. Math is hard, but it's not unachievable. They are not things that you cannot learn and do and be great at. The problem for black and brown kids is that they give up far sooner than they give up before they even get started because it looks intimidating.
Mhm.
So for us, if we intentionally focus on that character building and the confidence building to let our young people know that you are capable of achieving anything that you desire. You
Mhm.
are worthy of greatness. If we pour those things back into our young people, then we can come in and say, now let's try this algebra equation or let's learn this code because you are capable of doing great things. So we have to start there. You have to build a foundation for these are students that are, traditionally forgotten when it comes to, academic excellence and achieving. They leave them out of the conversation. They're looked over because they have been taught like, no, you can't do this or it's too hard. No, give them a chance. Give
Mhm.
them a chance. And
Mhm.
then so that is a confidence piece. And then we go back to that near peer model and we have our enrichment teachers who are actually delivering the curriculum and doing the work with our students paired with small group instruction. So it's not me, right, who at 40 I might sometimes feel like Johnny had 4 apples, right? Sometimes you want to go I might want to go there, but I don't. Our students, our enrichment teachers are closer in age, so it feels like they're learning with their big brother.
It,
It feels like they are studying with a cousin, um, and they forget that they're learning. So
oh, Tony, you speaking to you reminds me that this should not be that hard for people to understand. If you're a parent that has children, it's a difference between even what I'm noticing now with my oldest is in high school, the twins are still in middle school. They're just starting middle. He's a freshman in high school. Seeing Sean do his homework and study without being told, hey, you've got a big
Mhm.
test happening on Tuesday. So you know what? All of Saturday, instead of, on the 2K, he's in the back room studying. And I didn't recognize that his brothers were noticing that. So
Mhm.
now I'm seeing his brothers starting to study more, but that wasn't mommy
Yeah.
dictating to him. It was them seeing their brother, like you're saying, when it's a cousin, when it's a little more,
Mhm.
look, mommy said da 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 versus
Yes.
I see my brother doing. So again, for anyone that wants to sit back and point the finger or act or play dumb, come on, y'all. This is not a concept that's lost on
Mm-mm.
you. You really have taken the lived experience and put it into play. If and this question is funny because I have shadowed. If someone shadowed your program for a week, what would they feel that they wouldn't okay, what would they feel that they wouldn't understand just from reading about it? So I send you a pamphlet on the b.org, or I send you to the website. That's one thing. I've actually you've had programming where you've had volunteers and supporters actually shadow and walk through a day. What did you hear back from people that had that experience that changed them?
It really, like, one thing that people miss, it really is a family here, right? And I don't just mean like me to students or our enrichment teachers to students, but our team, like the team that we cultivate, I like to say that we are human first, like people first before the work. So, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, make sure you're taking care of home, because if you can't do those things, then I can't expect you to deliver and do your job, right? So it's really like a real family loving atmosphere. Um, I think in terms of like programming, what doesn't show up on the paper all the time is the amount of work that goes into delivering impactful programming. Right. You see, if you look at us and you come and you visit, it's like, oh, this is good. Like they did a good job and it flows so seamlessly. That took years of
Yeah.
years and years of work and several different iterations to get it to flow and function this way. It took a lot of, matching, like this person works well with this group or this student works well with this person. um and it's a good balance and match to make sure that everything like flows, and that the students get the best experience possible. And I've been really intentional on like what the system looks like and what curriculum looks like and what components go into it. um, Snacks, like making sure that devices are there and up to date, and we have guest speakers, so making sure that the model is stable and consistent, because we do want to replicate this in other districts. So, um, other districts, other states, and honestly, I'm from PG County, and we've received so many inquiries like, can you bring the program down here? Can you do this? Or Howard County, and just other jurisdictions want the same experience. So I've been very intentional on making sure that this recipe for success is replicatable, so that other people, in other areas a little more distant than Baltimore City, Baltimore County, are able to really feel the impact, and we can spread our love just a little bit farther.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here, and as I listen to you, you have a methodical nature about you, Tonee. Where and this is just Dion going off the cuff. I'm like, where does that stem from? Like, do you have a math background? Like, what is you have a di 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 flow?
Yes, very. So science makes sense to me. My
Okay, it
it
shows.
does. I'm not very artistic And like I'm very like this and this is the formula. This is, you do this, you're gonna get this end result, right? But yeah, so my background, my degrees are in biology, and then a program called molecular biology, bioinformatics, and biotechnology, and microbiology. And
Come on, y'all.
my separate master's degrees in biotechnology. So I like science. I got my grandfather was a scientist at NIH. And so I love science, and it has
Tony,
been, huh?
you are freaking brilliant. I mean, but I'm sorry, because it's like every time I talk to you, and you've known me enough over these years that I'm not bullshitting you. Like, I always walk away like, that's a best. So, uh,
Thank you.
which
Thank you.
again, to know that you're a mirror, and please correct me. Did you say her name was Layla? The
Mm-hmm.
so I'm curious. You have the Laylas. If you can share, even maybe not even from your perspective, but from some of your team members and facilitators, can you share a story of a student's transformation that changed either you or them as much as it changed the student?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I have, and she's actually going to tell her story at Future Fest, which is our fundraiser next week. So I'll just give a little tidbit of that. She says coming to the B org was the greatest mistake that she's ever made in her life, and one that has changed her life and saved her life. And the growth that I have seen in this young lady over the last 4 years, it really brings tears to my eyes every time that I think about it. Um, from just a conversation that I had, I don't get a chance to be with the young people during the summer every day. I'm able to pop in on occasions. I'm always at Tech Day, which is our closing celebration, and I sat next to her, and I knew some of the things that she had got into, and I looked at her and I said, "You are better than that.
Ooh, yes.
You are better than that." Um, and that's just one of the key things that I told her in that conversation. And I told her that I expect great things from her. Um, and she is a totally, from going to having interactions with the police to now writing and presenting research on disrupting the prison to school pipeline, the school to prison pipeline. I mean, that level of change, that level of awareness, that level of drive to want to do more and be more. I I'm excited because she's graduating, this year, and I cannot wait to see what is next from her.
Tony, that is beautiful. That is,
Thank you.
and it's also in recognizing the ripple effect, because the impact that you have on her, she also, I'm sure, has her own peer group, and she may have
Mhm.
brothers and sisters, and people underestimate that people are always
Mhm.
watching. Um, what does success look like beyond college acceptance or career placement for students?
I want them to be able to change their bloodline, right? Like we know that graduation is possible. Our students are achieving that. We know that college acceptance is possible. They are achieving that. We've had a handful of students go on to graduate college. We have a handful of students that have come back after college or even during college to continue to mentor and teach our students. So we've seen that 360, that full circle moment from, of organizational growth. But I want them to just take what they've learned and pour it back into Baltimore, pour it back into the community, and just be that example for the next generation. So this thing can continue to catch on like wildfire. And they do talk about how these opportunities can shape the rest of your life. Um, So that is the next big indicator of success, when they're able to change their family bloodline. Economic mobility for the whole family.
Come on. No, that's powerful. Um, let's keep it in that vein. I want to switch the lens to the vision, right? So,
Mhm.
if resources were unlimited, what would, come on, claim it, Jesus. If the resources were unlimited, what would the B.org look like in 5 years? And how would Baltimore feel different because of it?
Mm. We are looking for an opportunity. We're looking for a home, a place to package all this goodness, all the great things that we do, and put it in one building, and not always have to go to a million different places, or have to rent space or share space. Or we need a hub for our students and a place for them to call home outside of their home. That is one big thing the B org needs, and will have in the next, hopefully before 5 years.
Come on.
Um, but just to continue to grow, to continue to change families, right? Like, we're changing individuals, and we cannot ignore the family structure, right? And I say that all the time when I'm talking to schools about, can we bring, can you bring the B org to our school? Absolutely. Will you see improvement? Yes. But the real change happens when we are able to impact and touch a whole family together, because we aren't equipped to do that by ourselves. Let me just say that. If we can put a plan in place to where we support the students, we can support the families, and in turn, the whole child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we can't just ignore what's going on at home and think that that is not contributing to what is playing out in their academics. Um, so I think our students will ultimately be able to be the ones that have that long term generational impact on their families. We know that some families want, they want to do better, they want more, they want stability, they want great things. Is just, we're in a blue collar city.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are make decisions between the basic necessities for their families, for themselves, and paying the next bill. I think our students will be able to end that. I really do. And I think ultimately Baltimore will be a better place for it.
Agreed. Um, this is probably in the vein of, like you said, you can't, it's still in partnership. You still require support. So that makes me question, where are you being stretched the most right now? Is it capacity, funding, partnerships, visibility? Uh, and how can people meaningfully show up?
We're definitely being stretched in terms of like capacity. The need always far exceeds the resources that, we have available. And it breaks my heart to tell people no. It breaks
No.
my heart to tell people, we can't get to you right now. But, I hear you, I see you. I'm willing to work in partnership with you to, work on a grant, or, um, you know, go after this funding. If we had more people, we would have a greater reach. If we had more people, we would have more visibility. Um, and honestly, we need to be able to pay our people more, right? Some of the people that are on our team are from the same communities that we serve, right? And so we want to make sure that we are putting our our money where our mouth is, right? And making sure that we're investing back in individuals and families and communities by way of the work that they deliver to us. So more money, more people, a place to call home, um, in real strong partnerships, strong community partners that really want to walk hand in hand and listen to us and say, you know what, they really do have something going over at the B org. Let them lead this in this way and really tell me what they need and help deliver on that. Some people, some institutions, they think that they always have the answers, and I'm willing to listen, but experience sometimes tells me otherwise.
Understood.
Um,
Can we keep I wanna keep it there because when you started off the conversation, you were saying how even when you think about, your team, the people that are around you, that you're people first. Like, if you're not able to take care of what's happening here, how can you present and be present for our children? So, what does the right partnership? Because you don't just in knowing you, it's not just anybody walking up in here, and not all money is good money. So what
mhm.
does the right partnership look like for the B.org? Not just any partnership. Like, what's the requirements to be in your sphere?
Yeah, so I scratched your back, you scratched mine. And I'm not. Y- mm. We cannot just be in it for the data and for the outcomes. So if you're here just for checking a box or trying to put numbers on the paper, I'm gonna say it's probably not a good fit because we work with people. We work with people,
Saying it
not
for the people in the back.
objects,
Mhm.
not objects, not instruments, not animals. We work with people. And the amount of care and detail that goes into supporting people, like we cannot just ignore what happens at home. We address those things. We have mental health partners. Um, but these are people. So if we miss a mark by 6 months or whatever, it is because we are dealing with people with real life issues, with real life responsibilities. It does not mean that this program is not successful. It just means it takes us a different, sometimes you have to reach success in a different way, and it
Yeah.
needs to be more human centered. It needs to be more people driven. So if outcomes and data are your sole motivator, then this is not the partnership for you, because we sometimes have to change the course of how we are delivering or be adaptable to the circumstances of what's going on in society, in this city,
Yeah. Yes,
and
ma'am.
individuals. you know we work with people first, so
Tony, you that that sound bite alone, if you don't get that they're human centered and it's people first by what Tony has said, then you obviously have not been listening. Um, as we wind down, I want to switch it to the personal. Um, you're building you're building belief in young people every day. What do you have to remind yourself to believe in as a leader?
I have to remind myself that to whom much is given, much is required. Um, this work is hard. It is taxing at times. It is exhausting, but so rewarding, so fulfilling. And I am in position to really change people's lives, and um, I cannot let that go
Mm,
unnoticed,
mm,
or I cannot downplay that to myself. It is a great responsibility, and I am forever grateful for the care that has been, the level of trust that has been placed upon me to deliver the care for people that we do. So believing in myself and reminding myself that to whom much is given, much is required. Um, and giving myself grace. I
Mm,
still, I still work on that every day
I can imagine.
in this work.
Uh, Tonee, again, as I sit back in awe of you, it makes me, and you mentioned your grandfather earlier in the conversation. Who poured into you in a way that still shows up in how you lead today?
Oh, my grandparents. I I have the oldest soul. Um, my grandparents. So when I was younger, my grandmother retired to take care of me and my cousin, and she was always at her church. She was giving back. She was a trustee. She was, on the board. She volunteered. So I saw that early on. I was right in tow with my grandmother. I thought, and my grandfather too, because he volunteered at the church as well. I was at the church so much that I thought that it was their job. I didn't know that they were retired. I thought that this was what they were supposed to do. And it
Mm,
was what they were supposed to do. I thought
mhm,
it was what they were paid to do. I didn't know until honestly, when I wrote their obituary, my grandmother passed first. When I wrote my grandmother's obituary, I'm like, huh? And then I realized as an adult in my 30s
mm,
that she was volunteering. And every day that I thought I was going to work with grandma up the church,
yeah,
I was really going and watching her pour into her community in Northwest DC and pour into other people, working with the homeless and the children and the church. And so that is where my spirit of servant leadership comes from. It is truly in my DNA. It is who I am because it's
man.
what I was taught. And as God continues to still bless me with the ability and the resources to continue to give back and pour into others, it is it is just what I'm here to do.
Mm. Tonee, I am literally, I'm sorry, I'm holding back tears. Um, I lost my grandfather 2 weeks ago, 94. I lost my father last year at 67. And to the point that you're saying of being that old soul of I remember going to the church and helping to vacuum and you know
Mm-hmm.
the trustee. So after the collection, going into the back and rolling
Mm-hmm.
up the and when they would actually visit the sick and shut in and going with them to everybody's house, and I would get a chicken box. It was Pentecost Baptist Church right there on Poplar Grove in West Baltimore, and I knew that if all right, I got to go to Sister So and So and Sister So and So, but at least I get a chicken box at the end of the visit. But then as you get older and look back and recognize that they weren't getting paid to do this, but it was such a part of their life. Like it was my
Mm-hmm.
every week and every week. And uh so to sit here and speak to someone who in others' eyes, you're still young. You're young and you're impacting the lives of young people, but that came as a result of a generation before that poured into you. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that feeling of being that old soul. So I sit here and I just your testimony is so affirming. And I'm thankful in you sharing it. So I apologize.
No, don't.
But I can definitely see their disciple walk
Yeah.
is displayed in you. So I want to ask you two questions in closing. If a young person from Baltimore is watching this right now and silently believes they're not enough, or not just a young person, because real talk,
Mm.
life is life for a lot of people beyond our young, and they're sitting here. I'm not enough. Heavenly Father, I don't have it in me. I'm surrendering. I can't do it. What would you say to them directly now?
You are capable You are deserving. You are able and to do great things. Greatness is, I think it's Michelle Tolan who said this. Greatness is your birthright. And many others have said it as well. But greatness is your birthright. You are deserving of success, and you are able to achieve great things.
Last question for you, madam, before I let you go. When people say your name 10 years from now, what do you hope they say you helped Baltimore become?
Mm. And that's so crazy. I've been thinking about like my legacy and who I am outside of the work, right? And who I want to be to my family and who I want to be to myself. But I want Baltimore to remember me as the person that they adopted, right? I'm a PG County girl at heart, and Baltimore has opened its arms to embrace me and allowed me to lovingly come in and share opportunity, to share hope, and to impact young people and families for generations to come.
Let me tell you something. Miss Tonee Lawson, you are the bomb.com. I am blessed to know you. Thankful
Thank
for the work
you.
you do. And with that, my people, that's hashtag my Be More. What's the 410? If you're not following the B.org, if you are not a supporter, if you can just continue to share their story at a bare minimum, I advise you to do so. And with that, we're out. Peace.
I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. Even if it means you gotta leave me and you don't wanna be baby. Look, baby, I'm straight. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great.